Okay, so talking to you about if you feel like you're being stuck in your loan, and this is the most exciting one for me. It enabled me to travel for 6 months. When I was unwell, I had a year and a half where I had no income because I was injured at work. Long story, but Airbnb was my saviour. And Airbnb is not the be-all, end-all, because some of you will be thinking, well, if I buy this little house in a country town or wherever, it's not going to generate an Airbnb income. But it doesn't mean you're locked in. There's things like you can rent your place out while you want to travel. You can get someone in. And the biggest thing is if you buy a house with more than one bedroom, why live alone when you can get your friends to come in, create a share house and get them to help you to pay your mortgage. I know that I'm about to actually go into this situation with a friend and move down the coast. And so I own a place, that'll be Airbnb, but I'll be living with my friend who's just bought his first place, which is so exciting. And it means it's more affordable for him, my rent's quite low, and it makes things more exciting for both of us to live. But there are so many more options now, and I'm just going to go into the Airbnb thing. I managed to pay my mortgage in 3 months of a 12-month period from Airbnb. And again, I know that's not for everyone, but in a country town even, you may be able to rent to a friend, and that's going to pay for a third or half of your mortgage. If you live near a university and you're not in the same situation, you want a quiet lifestyle, you can look at it renting to a student. There's so many different things that you can do and not feel locked in. Without buying my property and having Airbnb, I actually don't know where I would have been, as well as living in share houses. I know how good that is and how fun it is and how low cost that is. So it kind of works. You're splitting bills, you're doing all sorts of things, saving money that way. The other thing is to think about while we're talking about renting is the place that you buy may not be the place you want to live, and that's okay. You can buy somewhere where you're not going to live. You can buy somewhere that's cheaper and smaller in a country town, rent it, get someone in as a renter, and then you pay rent somewhere else. So you kind of go, I'm still paying rent, yeah, but someone's also paying your mortgage. So there's so many ways that you can actually kind of make your lifestyle work about where you want to live and still have an asset. And that's the thing about, there's the saying asset rich, cash poor, because at the end of the day you can always sell these assets and they're secure. They're not like super that can go missing, investments that can fail. I don't know a lot about investing, shares, all those sorts of things for me are too stressful, and because I've had to create my own life, and as I said, coming from not a lot, it's the most safe investment is brick and mortar for the old school people, and security for yourself. And then if anything goes wrong, worst case scenario, and you don't want the property anymore, you can always sell it. And generally in the times, prices are only going to go up. If you have a look, they're talking about 10-20%, and in the major cities it's becoming a place where the prices are crazy how quickly they're going up. So just because you can't buy your dream home shouldn't actually make you feel uncomfortable or negative. You should just look at getting into the market, because once you're into the market, you can use that property to look at other options down the road, whether buying more properties, selling it, whatever. There's things, once you're in, you're in. The other thing which the government has put up the deposit scheme for first home buyers who want to build your own place. Totally not going to claim to be the expert on this, but what I mean is that there are still schemes available. The best one that I deal with day to day with my first home buyers is the stamp duty concession, which means that being a first home buyer, you actually either remove all of your stamp duty if it's a lower purchase amount, or you're removing a lot of it. So it's a huge concession. That's money in your pocket that the government are going to pay, instead of you having to come up with stamp duty, which it could be $13,000, $14,000, $15,000, $20,000 for higher purchases. So it's still a really good time to buy with that. And then once I keep going on about once you're in, but I've kind of gone with, I bought the first little tiny country property, not worth a lot even now. It's not gone up heaps, but it's still gone up a little bit. to the second, I bought the place I actually wanted to live, which is a small studio apartment in Fitzroy in Melbourne, which I then Airbnb'd. It funded my entire America trip. It also paid for the mortgage, and as I said, when I was ill, it covered my wages, my mortgage repayments. I just cannot be grateful enough for that investment. And then with help, I bought the third property in Coolangatta, which I've been able to have tenants in, and it's just paid for itself. And it's just nice knowing that if I ever wanted to move to Coolangatta as well, up to here, I could do that. So once you're in the market, you don't actually necessarily need a lot of cash to keep kind of creating a portfolio, and maybe everyone isn't interested in that. You say the word portfolio and kind of go ooh, but it's not. It's actually a lot easier once you're in than you realise. I should check my sheet and see if there's anything else, because I'm not great at remembering. I think I've covered pretty much it all. I've been talking at the screen for a while. I guess all I'm saying, if there's any questions you have as a first home buyer, I've been through it personally, and I really take a deep interest in first home buyers, as I said, to help them create security, to help them believe in themselves, and to actually make those dreams come true. And if you have any questions, it is free of charge for you to contact me, and I'd love to be able to talk to you and help you through anything else. Hopefully I'll get to do some more of these sessions from home, not as glamorous as the lovely surf side of Coolangatta. But yeah, pretty exciting times. I don't think, no, that's everything. Okay, now this is the awkward part when I say bye and then press the button. Cool.